Well, on Tuesdays, we talk to our neighbors in business. This segment brought to you by Northstar Bank. And with us today is John Wilson, who is the co-founder of the book publishing company Fish Out of Water Books. John, we know each other quite well over the years here in 107.1, but first time we've had you on the show, right? How are you?
Yes, long-time listener. It's a great pleasure to be on.
It's an honor to have you here. Tell us what your day gig is and what inspired you and your wife, Lori, to start Fish Out of Water Books. How long has this book publishing company been around?
Well, I've been working in publishing for over 20 years now, do editing and layout for, it's a company called the Association for Asian Studies. So we do books about Asia. And we've had this idea kicking around for a long time that we wanted to start our own publishing company. And I'm from England, Laurie's, she grew up in Michigan. And we had this idea for a book called Northern Souls. It was about both of us growing up in the northern part of our country. We're obsessed with music. And during the same time period, the similarities and differences and the whole pop culture vibe. So we kicked around ideas for that book. It never really got finished. And then we came across R.J. Fox, who had actually finished his book for Love and Vodka. And we saw some excerpts on Facebook. I'm like, man, this is amazing. Wrote to him, said, would you be interested in publishing through our new publishing venture? He said yes, and kind of the rest of it's history. It's worked out amazingly well.
What brought you to America? You're from Manchester, England
yes,
area?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. How long have you been living here? What brought you here?
I moved here in '93. Laurie's mum got remarried. She moved over to Manchester in the late '80s. So I met Laurie over there. Laurie moved over with her mother. And so we got married in '89. Moved back over in '93, so it's interesting. We have a lot of the same interests, and she was listening to a lot of the same music, across the pond, as you'd say. So it was, it's worked out really well.
I could see the connection because I've been a big fan of music from Manchester for as long as I've been
on
the air and before. I don't know. There's, as I've said a few times on the air, there's something in the water in Manchester, England,
right.
because of all the incredible bands.
Because there's nothing else to do. It's either soccer or music, one or the other. I wanted to do both, but
so music is the escape, is the creative outlet.
Lots of people would say that. Yeah,
I see.
Yeah.
All right, we're talking this morning to our neighbors in business. It is John Wilson from Fish Out of Water Books. Tell us more about R.J. Fox's book that you've published on Fish Out of Water Books, Love and Vodka. What's this book all about? And R.J. has got an event coming up at Nicola's, is that right?
Yes, indeed, yes. Next Wednesday.
A week from tomorrow.
January 27th, 7 p.m. There's going to be a reading and a book signing at Nicola's.
All right, take us into the book. What's Love and Vodka all about here?
Love and Vodka, it's an autobiographical memoir. It's when he went to Hollywood to do some screenwriting camps and had a day off, went to Universal Studios, saw a girl on the Terminator ride. They thought, oh, she looks nice. He was on his own. She seemed to be on her own. Of course, he had no courage to strike up a conversation with her, but he was walking across the park and he saw her getting on the E.T. ride. So he's like, oh, there she is. There's nobody else getting on the ride, so he hopped on the ride, was sat next to her. They struck up a conversation, came off the ride, carried on the conversation all the way to the gates. She had somebody picking her up. So they spoke literally for 20 minutes, went the separate ways, exchanged email addresses. He went back to Michigan. She ended up back in Ukraine. They became pen pals. Next thing, he bought an engagement ring, didn't tell a single person, went over to Ukraine, and basically that's where the story starts. The whole Fish Out of Water, cultural misunderstandings. It's like every single chapter is just brilliant. We feel so fortunate that this is our first book, and it all happened. Yeah, it's an incredible story. And the city where it takes place, Dnipropetrovsk, it's a long name. It was actually a closed city in the 80s. It was the centre of missile production in the Cold War, so it was closed off for a long time. And so going from Michigan to a whole different world, and the way he writes about it is so visual. It's a really good read. It's amazing.
The book is Love and Vodka. The author is R.J. Fox. The book published by Fish Out of Water Books, and one of the co-founders of Fish Out of Water Books, John Wilson, our guest this morning. One of our neighbors in business, brought to you by Northstar Bank. So the book reading and book signing, again, is at Nicholas Books here in Ann Arbor, and it's a week from tomorrow, John?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And what time?
It's going to be at 7 p.m.
At 7 p.m. All right. What's the next book that's going to be out on your imprint? What do you have planned for this year in 2016?
We have another book called Away from Home, and this is about going back to the early to mid 90s. A guy that moved over from England. Similar story to myself. Huge soccer fan, Manchester United fan. This is pre-internet days, so it's all about trying to follow your team thousands of miles away from home when there isn't the access to everything that's available nowadays, and going to like far-flung places and meeting these little subculture groups of hardcore fans and just all the characters that you meet. So that's kind of the thing we're trying to strive for with Fish Out of Water Books. People that get into strange situations, mostly like true life stories.
So, are the books or R.J. Fox's book? Is it available? Say, besides indie stores such as Nicholas, where else can it be found if people can't attend the event
it's available,
next Wednesday? How can they find R.J.'s book?
It's available on Amazon, but it's also available at all the local bookstores. We had a great book launch at Literati. We've got Nicholas coming up. It's available at Bookbound. We're very fortunate that we have a fantastic chain of really good indie bookstores in town.
And of course, we encourage our 1071 listeners to support those
indeed.
local indie bookstores to pick up a copy of Love and Vodka. And the website, it's fowbooks.com, correct?
Yes, yeah.
Right.
We have videos on there. Our son does the video production, so it's kind of like this little cottage industry
In the family.
So we've got the book launch video and a Q&A video. So if you want to find out more about the book and way to order it, you can go to fowbooks.com.
This is a homegrown success story. I love it. Fish Out of Water Books. Our guest, John Wilson, who founded Fish Out of Water with his wife, Lori Wilson, fowbooks.com for more information. Our neighbors in business, brought to you by Northstar Bank. This is one of your favorite David Bowie tracks, playing this in honor of the great artist. Oh, go ahead.
Can I just quickly say two things?
Yeah.
One, hi, Laurie. Hi, Davey. I know you're listening. I think they're on the way to school. And secondly, we found out some very exciting news that R.J. Fox, he's going to be the writer-in-residence for the 2016 Kerrytown Book Fest. So
really cool.
That's fantastic news.
We
are so made up with that.
That is great news.
Yeah,
indeed.
the reception so far has just been incredible. It's we're very, very fortunate that it's been received so well. So let's hope we just continue to go on the upward slope.
I love it. Thrilled for you, John. Thanks for being with us this morning, my friend.
Thanks, Martin. Really appreciate it.
This is in honor of Mr. Bowie, David Bowie. John, I'm only dancing, 1071.